it's Kara, and I am here with SCZ Live today in a place that I love. We are in the Education Animal Ambassador Warm Room. And these are the animals that you would see if we came to your school or your nursing home or if you attended a program here at Sedgwick County Zoo. It's important to note that these animals are not on public display because they're working. When they are not actively participating in a program with us, they get time off. So this is like their bedroom. And today we have a few things going on. We have a snake who was fed today who needs to go back into her habitat, and I'm going to do that. And then I have an exciting animal that I want to feed in front of you guys. It might make me jump because it is always an adventure feeding this friend. So we'll go ahead and get started. This is Persicore, and Persicore is a ball python. And I'm going to actually wear gloves with Persicore because she has bitten before. So she's actually not an ambassador that goes on program at this point because we wouldn't want to be bitten during a program. So she stays back here and hangs out and looks beautiful all the time. So here's Persicore, and we feed her in a box to reduce any chance of aggression when entering her habitat. And I'm going to turn the box so that I don't stick my fingers right in her face, because really, who would appreciate that? And then I'm going to carefully lift her. Hi. And I'm letting her know that I'm here. And I'm going to use my hands to support as much of her body as I can. And I'm going to slowly take her back to her habitat. I can even see where she'd been sleeping under that log. So I'm going to let her go there. I'm going to grab the door. You can't really do it with those gloves on. And that's that for Persicore. Now we have some dishes to do. If you think you want to be a zookeeper, my question to you is always, do you like doing dishes? And if your answer is an outstanding, resounding no, then zookeeping may not be for you because there's never a shortage of dishes. So now we're going to move over here to the Pixie Frog, for which I had a worm that I have misplaced. Does anybody see the bowl with the worm? Is it on the sink? See, this is why it pays to have good friends. Thank you, Amy. And no matter how well prepared I think I am, I'm not. Now, I'm wearing gloves with the Pixie Frog as well, not because I am worried about her biting, which could happen because she's a powerful eater, but I'm actually worried about her and anything that's on my hands getting in contact with her skin and then causing any kind of illness or contamination. So, I don't intend to pick her up, and I keep saying her. I don't know if the Pixie Frog is a boy or a girl. Okay, so the Pixie Frog is in her hide. I'm going to prepare myself because she might get excited. Now this looks delicious. A nice juicy earthworm for her. Good morning. So the Pixie Frog is also called an African bullfrog, and they get very large. Pixie is her name, and she is about, I'm looking at her card, she'll be 2 in the fall. So there's still a lot of growing to go. Did you see me jump? And she'll slurp it up like spaghetti. She'll use her feet to help get the worm in her mouth, but then watch her eyes. She'll close her eye, well, her one eye, and that actually helps force the food down the back of her throat because they don't have the same muscles that we have that help them swallow. And if you guys have questions about these animals, be sure to ask because we are full of answers. We are missing our friends and our guests because we love to talk to them. So be sure to shout out your questions and we can answer those for you. I'm going to put Pixie all back together, and then we're going to show you some of our other ambassadors, because we have a bunch. And it's important to make sure you secure those locks and keep everybody where they're supposed to be so they can all stay happy and healthy and safe. All right, so this is her goal for tomorrow. We like to plan ahead. I am really fond of these 2 lizards. These are blue-tongued skinks. And they are an Australian species, And people really like to invite them to their gardens because they will come to the gardens and they will eat bugs for them, and then they don't have to use pesticide. We have 2 female blue-tongued skinks, and they do not live together. They like to be separate. It reduces any chance of aggression and keeps them happy. But they have nice big enclosures, and one of the things that we do for our animals back here is we give them floor time as well. So they can get out on the floor and run around and have lots of exercise. Pixie is about a year and a half. This fall, Pixie will be 2. Here's one of our younger residents. This is a bearded dragon. His name is Aussie. He's a suspect male. And he came to us at the same time that Pixie came to us and has about the same birthday. So in the fall, this bearded dragon Aussie will be 2.
Kara, your daughter wants to know if we're going to see Bean today.
Darby, we will not see Bean today, but we might another day. Bean is our rabbit ambassador. We're going to stay here in the warm room today just because we think we would talk way too long if we went through all the rooms, because we can talk and talk.
There was the question of, for the Pixie Frog, how is the habitat ventilated? You can see there are holes that we have drilled on the top of this habitat, but the lid also allows for good ventilation because it's not a solid seal.
Another species that we're really excited to have in our population of animal ambassadors are the prehensile tail skinks. Some people call them Solomon Island skinks or monkey tail skinks, and that's because their tail actually acts as a grasping device. They can wrap it around branches, and I bet if we open this door, he will do this. They're females. She will actually come and get ready for a close-up. Do you want me to open the door?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go in front of you for just a second. This is Pulau, and Pulau loves visitors. I love to watch Pulau too. You can see that tail is kind of back on the log that she was hiding on, and I would expect in just a moment she'll stretch out and see if she can come see if I have any raisins.
Kara, Diane would like to know what being an ambassador means.
That's a really good question. We have animal ambassadors that get to go on program and be ambassadors for their species and conservation. They help underline our message of conservation and make sure that we give people an experience that they won't forget, so that they can go on and do conservation and preserve animal habitats, animal lives out there every day.
And what does the prehensile tail skink eat?
The prehensile tail skink is an herbivore, so it only eats plants. Each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, she gets, both of them, we have 2 of them, 2 females, they get 30 grams of salad, which is a combination of greens and fruit, and there's even some egg and eggshell in it for calcium. On Tuesdays, they get a couple of tablespoons of mashed banana, and for enrichment, we give things like craisins and raisins, and they're cuckoo for hibiscus flowers. So during hibiscus flower season, when our horticulture department has hibiscus flowers that haven't been treated with anything, we can feed them those. And they like to go straight for the center of the flower, and the flower is bigger than their head, so for a few minutes it looks like they're wearing a giant flower on their face.
Kara, one of the things that I think is really interesting about the prehensile tail skink is that they're part of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums Species Survival Plan. The SSP, as we lovingly call it, is basically a way that we can ensure that when animals are bred and born in human care, that they are as genetically important as possible. Just because you're having babies doesn't mean that's a good thing.
Right.
You need to make sure that there's the time and the space and that the genetic matches are ones that we can keep as much genetic diversity in our populations as possible.
I think that's a really important point, and we don't often have SSP animals, species survival animals, in the education population, so it's really exciting for us. They may be suggested to be given recommendations to breed, so I'm trying to get her to go back home.
We did have a question of what is making all that noise. So while Kara puts the prehensile tail skink back, we're going to go ahead and pan right over here to, I think, one of the most interesting animals in our collection.
I think so too. This is a calla, and a calla is a cockatiel, which is a parrot from Australia, and a calla is actually an Aboriginal word that means parrot. We were being very creative that day. And she has a really interesting story. She has not always lived with us. At one point, we believed that she was someone's pet, but she was found in our farm's night pasture, and it was a chilly day, and she couldn't stay outside because she's a warm weather bird that wasn't safe for her, so she was quickly scooped up by our team, our animal care teams, and she was taken into quarantine, and no one ever claimed her, so she became part of the ambassador population. She is not terribly, I won't fib, she doesn't like to be touched, but she does like to try to talk louder than me. She loves to be admired, and she doesn't go out on programs off-site very often because she doesn't like the act of being put in a travel enclosure, but she does participate in programs on grounds, and people love to see her.
Debbie has a question about the skinks. We love that you love skinks. Kara mentioned that the skinks that we have here at Sedgwick County Zoo are found in Australia and then islands, the Solomon Islands. We do have skinks here in Kansas, however, but much, much smaller than the Australian skinks that we see here at Sedgwick County Zoo.
Yeah, you can see lots of skinks. Just go outside, and I always recommend looking at a cement wall or a rock wall, because the lizards are probably basking along that wall, getting warm from the sun, and you can do a lot of observations, but you have to be really quick. You have to keep your eyes moving because skinks are so fast, the little skinks we have around here. But it's definitely worth some environmental investigation to go see if you have any skinks in your yard. I do recommend not trying to pick them up, because if you frighten them, they could drop their tail, and then that's something that they only do once, and they need to save that for a real danger. So I don't recommend trying to pick them up. One of my favorite friends, I shouldn't say favorite because I love them all, they're all wonderful ambassadors. But this snake here is Rojo, and Rojo is a Honduran milk snake, and I'm actually going to respect her space today and not open the door because she's beginning to get cloudy, and we try not to handle the animals, the reptiles, when they're cloudy just for their comfort. But she has an interesting story as well. We noticed that she had a lump in her abdomen close to her cloaca, or the place from which she would relieve herself, urinate and defecate, or lay eggs. And for a long time, we thought she was constipated or couldn't go poop. So we worked on some different ways to get her to go to the bathroom, and we got her to go. But then the lump didn't go away. So we did some further medical investigation, and it was determined that she had kidney cancer. And she had to have an operation to remove one of her kidneys. And that was, gosh, Sinead, do you remember how long ago? 3 years? 4 years?
4 years.
And she's done wonderfully with the one kidney and has had a really great quality of life. She's a very sweet snake. She's always ready to visit. So she's fun to be around. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed coming back to the Animal Ambassador Warm Room with us today as much as I enjoyed showing it off. Please remember that we miss you guys so much, and we can't wait for things to get back to normal so we can see you all again and see your bright, shining faces having your aha moments out there. But we want you to remember that even though we're closed, we're still caring.
We do have a brand new opportunity available for folks as well. We've started Zooming with the Zoo. If you would like your own private Zoom experience with the zoo, we are offering that at 11:30 and 3:30 daily. You can go to scz.org, go up to Tickets, Wild Encounters, and then select Zooming with the Zoo. There is a slight charge for that, but it will help us keep caring for those animals even though we're closed.